Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to present this session on Mesoamerican mirrors. We are sorry for the delay. Sometimes that's the way it happens. And we are going to start. This session that we made is the Mesoamerican session organized by Dr. Emiliano Gallaga and chaired by Emiliano Gallaga. The discussant will be Mark Bliney, that I don't see that is connected yet. But the presenters, we are three presentations made by Isadora Yoltzin Torres Luna de la ECRO from Mexico, a study of the manufacturers and raw materials of the pirate mirrors of the Huitzilapa, Jalisco, Mexico collection. The second presentation will be by Emiliano Gallaga Murrieta, Emiliano Megal Tizoc from the Museo del Templo Mayor and the UNACH, the pre-Hispanic pirate mirror manufacture, some insights from the experimental archaeology. And the last but not least, Jose Luis Punzo from Centro Ina, Michoacán, and Emiliano Gallaga Murrieta from UNACH, the pirate mirrors from Tingambato, Michoacán, preliminary interpretations. So if we don't have, I mean, because we are the last one, I mean, we have a little more time than the rest of the, of the presentation. So, I mean, I think we can go a little further. So, Isarina, if you are ready, the floor is yours.
Hola, good afternoon and morning to everyone. So, how can I share my screen?
Si presionas hasta abajo en el botoncito verde que dice share screen. Yeah.
Okay, so, ay, ¿por qué no se dice completa?
Ya, así está, así está.
Ahí está. So I'm gonna present you my what used to be my project for thesis, but because of COVID, as you all know, it got delayed. So it's a study of manufacture techniques and raw materials used as pirate mirrors. Pyrite is a mineral. I'm gonna explain a little bit afterwards, but it's important that we all have the same page. So let's begin. Through all the history of mankind, the death has the man has buried the death with personal belongings, and this type of objects can tell us about the status, the tradition, the likes, the dislikes, not only of the disease, but of the civilization it belonged. And pirate mirrors are one of these objects that we found in tombs, in Mesoamerican tombs specifically, right? So they have great distribution both geographically and temporally, but they still pose so many questions, right? So a little bit of the background. These type of mirrors are found most likely in tombs and major monuments. At the beginning, they were made of one single piece. The surface was concave, and it was about 950 before Christ. But it wasn't until the Teotihuacan culture in the early classical apogee that this exploded, and they began to make pirate mirrors of everything. They began to include new materials, new techniques, and we're gonna see that even after the Teotihuacan culture vanished, they still have so many production of this type of mirrors. So they're really important in Mesoamerican cultures. And we're gonna have the distribution not only of the mirrors, but of the materials they use for manufacturing and in the mirrors itself, found all the way to South America in Guatemala and Mayan cultures. So yes, these type of mirrors can give us so much information, not only about iconography or exchange between cultures, the materials, they're really important. So to explain a little bit of how important the pirate was in the Teotihuacan civilization, we have this. This is Tlalocan. This is the path underneath the earth. So this was found in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan is the city of the gods, one of the most important pre-Hispanic places here in Mexico. And it's a tunnel that basically is 103 meters long, and it's 18 depth, right? So we found there more 100,000 objects inside, and in the walls of it, it has pirates. So we can see how important this type of material was in the pre-Hispanic era and how it was distributed, right? So what is a pirate mirror, right? These are the kind of pirate mirrors we have. So I told you that at the first there was just one surface only, right? Just one piece. But as the the technique began to improve and evolve, we have all the way up to 40 and 50 pieces. So this is the front part, and in the back part we're gonna have different decorations. We're gonna have cravings, inscriptions, and this is a technique called pseudo cloisonné that it's American technique. It's really special, and it consists of putting clay, craving it, and putting clay on top of it, so it's pigmented. So that way we have like a mosaic of different clay, and it's amazing. So we're gonna see how they develop these techniques to have one single piece to have for 40 to 50 pieces conforming the mirrors until mosaics, really complex. As I mentioned before, the pyrite is a mineral, is iron sulfide. So this, as all the metals, tends to oxidate, right? So obviously they have lost um, the optical elements they used to have in the beginning, but they are still amazing in this time with the designs and the way they make it, right? So the components of the mirrors, there are three components of the mirrors. First, we have the pyrite, that is iron sulfide. It's supposed to be the gold of the poor. And it was coated and abrasionated until all the pieces and the edges were perfectly concordance. So this is amazing because as can you see, the pyrite is like a stone, right? So for cutting and having pieces of this diameter and the wide, it's really difficult for it not to break. So this talks about the master that they have to, elaborate them. Afterwards, we have adhesive. They have been found different types of adhesive. The most that are reported is a mixture of clay with a copper resin or tar or chapopote, as we call it here in Mexico. And this layer is really, really thin. And because it's made of organic things, it's so super easy for it to get lost. So there are not a lot of studies that let us know what type of adhesive they used to use. And after, in the last but not least, we have the vase that is usually made of, ay, perdónenme, of slate, clay, or sandstone. And the shape is going to be circular. There have been records that is also rectangular or even triangular. So each one of them are going to have different types of edges that can be also decorated with pseudo cloisonné or with cravings or with all the different things. And the beauty about the Mesoamerican things is that not only the mirror itself has meaning, right? Because it's important and, whatever, but also the materials where they have, which they make it. For example, pyrite, we know it's the stone for creating the spark for the prehistoric fire. So pi actually comes from the Greco-Latin root of fire. The adhesive are going to be elements that are highly flammable, and the vase, the shape, and the decorations it has, because it has decorations in the back part, as I mentioned, are going to have relationship with the fire, with the light, how it reflects all the way up to the mirror. So this is really beautiful, right? Um, and Dr. Emiliano Gallaga is the one that has investigated more of this type of mirrors and the technique of facture, especially. So he identified three types of perforations. The first one is here in the edges. The second one is all the way into the center, and the third one perforates all the three layers. So depending on these type of perforations, they're placing in the tomb, where was it with the death, in the chest, in the head, next to it, or all these informations can tell us so much about what they meant with this type of position and mirrors, and why the decoration like that. And we can study so much things, not only from what mine did it came the pirate, from what material the slate came, and da da da. So this is a shaft tomb. A shaft tomb is a typical tomb in the west part of Mexico. So it consists of a shaft that is from 3 to 20 meters long, and then it opens to two chambers where the depths are positioned for cardinal positions, and surrounding them we have the objects. Um, what's the problem with the tombs in general, right? We have a context with pH, specifically with certain kind of humidity, and with dead body decomposing, right? So this is going to affect directly to the pyrite mirrors, that they are, iron sulfide. So they have the tendency to oxidate, and this oxidation is going to be super strong because it can change their colors, and also afterwards degrade so much that it becomes dust. It can become completely lost. So this is a problem because we're losing things or materials inside the tombs after we open, because we changed the we introduce more air, we take away the objects without knowing how they're going to be stable or not, and this has repercussions, right? So the Huitzilapa, this is my tomb, my case of study, and it's one of the most special tombs in Mexico because it's one of the few that has not been looted. In Mexico, it's really common that people find tombs and they start grabbing the objects for selling them to foreign people, or for having them in their houses or stuff. So this is one of the few ones that archaeologists actually can enter without having any alteration. And this is super important because we can study where were the place the pirate mirrors, how was the position in the tomb, was anything else surrounding them. And this tomb belongs to the late pre-classic and early classic, and there we found two pirate mirrors. We have this one that is already alterated chromatically. As you can see, we have lost the pirate. We are having now oxidated iron. And here we can see the second one that it has a little bit of pirate still. Both have the base of slate, and because of COVID and all things, I have no permission to look at them closely, but the perforations may be of the second type potentially, but it's still missing so much studies. So the problems is that we're losing the mirrors because we are not understanding how the materials they have are working, how is the deteriorations of the materials are producing, because once iron interacts with hydrogen or oxygen, we can have iron oxidate, iron sulfur, and sulfur acid. So this is really dangerous because we can lose something so beautiful and so important just because we don't understand how it works, right? Also the adhesive, we have said like, yeah, it's clay and copal or tar, but there are millions of things. And also pyrite, as minerals, there's a lot of things that can be pyrite. It's chalcoparita, pyrotina, pyrite, and different charges of valences or things that, yeah, we can say easily it's pyrite and it's oxidating, but we don't understand really what type of pyrite it is and if it's changing. So the case of study is really interesting because we have one that is already oxidated and the other one that is more or less stable, and both of the same context. So we can infer like, well, this was closer to the death, no, this had like more soil on it. So we have to start investigating, and from all the deterioration, even if it's deteriorating now, we can still have so many information that can come out of. So I have hypotheses. First of all, is that the mirrors that they found in the Huitzilapa tomb are made of the mixture of chalcopyrite, pyrothene, and pyrite. And also, one of the important hypotheses that I've made is the adhesive, because as I said, it comes from organic things. It can have a long change of hydrogens and oxygens and carbons. These may interact directly with the pyrite and make a catalyzer for the reaction. So not only the context is deteriorating the mirrors, but also the adhesive they use. So it's important to then when we know exactly what we're treating, this is the material we're treating, we can maybe open lines of investigations for restoration and conservation, for making a method for not to lose them anymore. We're not ever gonna make the mirrors shine again, right? But we're gonna stop them and maybe stop losing them and stop just converting from dust in the museums, right? So this used to be my methodology for my thesis. I was going to ask permissions, documentations, read about the different mirrors that have been found here and in Mesoamerica in general. And then I was going to start an observational analysis of different lights, such as UV, infrared, gas, and light, and then take samples, both of the pyrite and the oxidated pyrite, and the adhesive, of course. For the pyrite, I was going to make an instrumental analysis with X-ray diffraction, crystalline mineral identification, and cell topology to know what type of pyrite that we have. And for the adhesive, I was going to use FTIR, that is for identifying the functional groups. So that way I can know, well, this is an adhesive that has a component of clay or a component of copal or different things. So that was the plan, and is still the plan after all this crisis goes. So in that way, we can understand better how everything works, how the pyrite mirrors should be conserved and restorated, and that way we can still study all the leftovers, right? Like, well, not leftovers, all the other studies of iconography, of the exchange the cultures used to have, the yeah, the materials and their techniques. So it's really important that we give the proper importance to these mirrors, because we're losing them and few people know about them. So yeah, that's about it. So if you have any questions, I'm here.
I, I'd like to just say thank you for such a interesting and informative presentation.